What's up, people? We are live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James, of course, with my co-host Kaelyn. Kaelyn, how's it going?
Pretty good. Another weekend. Feels like it's been a while because we didn't have one last week. Actually, feels like it's been forever.
It does. We only do it once a week, and yet it does. It feels like although you know what, because I do put a little bit of effort into this, and so it was nice that I was like, okay, I don't have to do this. I could do other things today. So that was nice.
Yeah, there's just, and then surprisingly not a whole lot to go over from previous. I mean, I watched the fights last night. They weren't that entertaining to me. The main event fell out. Whatever, but that's all right.
That's all right. We are going to be joined by a fighter. Michael Ramirez is going to be joining us. He's going to be fighting on the I almost said Tachi. Wow, I got Tachi on the brain. He's going to be fighting on the 559 Fights card coming up next month. So we're going to go ahead, and he's just joined us, so we're going to go ahead and pop him in now. What's going on, Michael? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Welcome to the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for coming on. You got a fight about less than a month out, a couple weeks away. You know, tell us your thoughts on training and how everything's going.
Yeah, the fight's coming up pretty fast. My training and all that stuff is going pretty good. And I train every day. I don't really take days off, so I guess I've been preparing for this moment since I started training. So yeah, we've been working a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed and stuff from my last fights. That just studying my last fights and all the film. And yeah, hoping to go out there and do what I got to do and make it. I hope it's enough to bring home the belt for the team.
Nice. How long have you been training?
How long I've been training?
Yeah.
I started training July 25th of last year.
Oh, wow, and already fighting for a belt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what inspired you to get into MMA?
I'm hungry. I want to be successful so I could make all my dreams come true. And fighting's something that I've done my whole life. Not in the gym, but just like life itself is a fight, And so I've always known I was a fighter at heart. I've always had heart, and fighting something that's just I don't know the same, but it came easy to me. Training and everything about it, which is it wasn't irregular. It was like normal. It fit in perfectly with my with the way I move and stuff.
What weight class is this for you?
I'm fighting at 170.
170. Have you always fought at 170?
Yes.
Yeah. Is any crazy weight cut that you have to do for that?
Not necessarily. I walk around under 180. So
not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad at all. The weight cut's pretty easy for me. I used to work out in the gym. I trained for a whole year, and I got up to maybe 190, 200, and then as I started training, it just naturally all cut down because I stopped lifting,
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of toned me up and got me light, and then training right there is obviously gonna help with the tone and losing weight and just being conditioned and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about fighting all your life. I mean, did you participate in any type of combat sports when you were a kid, like wrestling or anything like that? Or you were just like, you know what, I've been fighting and this is the way I can be successful?
A little bit of the second part. I've been fighting, everyone's been in a street fight, everyone's, had to defend themselves. And I have a lot of younger siblings, so I've always was defending them from bigger people and stuff like that. So I've always been a fighter, I've always done that. But ever since I started training, I haven't done none of that. You know, like it's helped with my mental and approach at life. You know, like my patience and just seeing the situations differently and like realizing all the stuff back then was just like was unnecessary and stuff. You know, like it was just a lot of things could have been avoided. So yeah, I never really had. I have no training experience, no fighting experience besides like I guess from just whatever I seen on TV or something. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Was it tough when you first started out, like going into a fight gym and then getting used to the way they want you to do things compared to how you would do things when you were in a fight situation?
Honestly, I went in there with the mindset of I don't know a damn thing. So I went in there ready to learn everything. I went in there ready to get beat up, to lose, to face defeat. I didn't go in there knowing like, all right, I'm gonna go in here and show them like I'm not no regular person. Like I went in there knowing and ready to learn. Like I went like the ego. I never had an ego my whole life. I'm not a cocky person, you know. So I've always been respectful and humble. And so when I went to that gym, I went in with the mindset of, all right, I'm ready to learn and become better. And I know you learn from getting beat down, you know, like it tests you who you are as a person and see if this is for you and are you capable. And the first day I went to the gym, I went every day. I took no days off. And I honestly can say I'm one of the hardest workers at my gym. We have a lot of good teammates that work hard, you know, but like for me myself, I'm there every day, you know, just trying to catch up to them, you know.
And you said you train every day. What, you know, throughout the days of the week, what's your schedule like for training?
I get to the gym Monday through Friday. I get to the gym. I try to get there around 3:30, maybe 4, and I stay there till 8:30 every day.
Okay. Wow.
Fridays I go at 5, and then I stay till 7, and then on Saturday and Sunday kind of my. Sometimes I do go to Saturday, but these past couple weekends there's been events, so there has been no gym. But usually I do go Saturdays for my Muay Thai and stuff like that, you know, to get a workout in. And we have a lot of fitness in there, like, so we lift weights or do a lot of stretches or a lot of motions, you know, to get the body loose and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a lot of how's your sparring? I mean, how often do you spar, and do you have a lot of sparring partners?
We spar every Thursday. We have Throwdown Thursday. And and as for partners, yeah, I have plenty of options. A lot of people to work with that are my size. Personally, for me though, I like going with people that are a little heavier than me.
Mm-hmm.
Just I feel like it's more better conditioning for me. You know, like because you don't want to get hit by someone that's more heavier. You know, like so your mind. I feel like it helps with your defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, God forbid, like I do get hit or whatever by someone that's my size, it won't be something I'm worried about. You know, I could take a punch. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially facing someone who's bigger, you're facing a different type of adversity, and it teaches you to deal with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, like most definitely. That's exactly what it is. It's just they're bigger. You gotta. Because I'll be lying if I say I wasn't nervous each time I went against someone bigger, but I'm nervous every time. But that gives me like a good adrenaline boost. It shows me that I'm willing to step up to the plate, you know, and deal with whatever comes at me.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about your gym. Shout out your gym. Where you train at, man? I
train at Dethrone MMA, located on Clinton and Clovis. That's my family team. My coach, Mike Moreno, he's been there with me since the jump. My manager, Rick Falcon. My Muay Thai coach, Andrew Grigorieff. My boxing coach, Lamar. My wrestling coach, Russell. I have 2 boxing coaches. Coach Lamar works with me a lot, and then time to time when I get the opportunity, I box with Rudy Cruz. He
that's knowledge right there, and that's a lot of knowledge you want to get from him.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's a real vet in the game, you know. So I soak up everything he said with like every ounce of it.
Now, since you started training, is there one thing that you have really started to enjoy? Is it Muay Thai, boxing? Like, what part do you enjoy more than others?
Honestly, in the beginning, I love the jiu-jitsu, and I still do. But with the striking, like all the fundamentals that come with it, I really came to love it also. Like, you know, just because it's not just punching, you know, it's really a whole. You gotta be coordinated. You know, you gotta set up everything. Just like with jiu-jitsu, you gotta set up a certain submission. You gotta work the body a certain different ways. Just like that's just how it is with Muay Thai. So I'm really a big fan of both. But if I'm being honest, I'm focusing on my striking right now, and just reading the person in front of me, like just seeing how he reacts to certain things, try to catch a rhythm, try to catch a pattern, and if it don't work, try it again. You know, just try to figure it out, and just stuff like that. You know, because there's like head movement, there's deception, there's setups, breathing, like leg movement, and stuff like that. You know, so I really like it a lot.
Have you done any tournaments as far as jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai or anything like that, or has it just been your MMA fight so far?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I've been fiending to do a lot of tournaments, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys playing like jiu-jitsu tournaments. Like it excites me the thought of it to compete in like specific things, because you know I want to get a lot of medals, I want to get trophies, I want to sharpen up, because any type of competition is great. You know, like it's the best way to learn stuff. Like you don't practice don't do no baseball games. You know. So I train jiu-jitsu, I train Muay Thai. So I'm trying to do all that. But the thing is, since I started training, each time there's an event, I had my fight like a week after or 2 weeks after. So
Yeah.
my coach isn't gonna let me risk, like, you know, getting hurt or just risk anything. You gotta be safe and stuff like that. So I fought November, December, and January back to back, and so I couldn't compete in any events that were along that timeline. But if for some reason I have an opportunity to do it, I most definitely will take the opportunity to do a lot of competitions.
Now, did you enjoy fighting back to back like that? Very, very seldomly do we hear about fighters, you know, doing a turnaround like that.
If they let me fight every month, I'll fight every month. I just put it like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the thrill of it. I really love fighting, and the thing is that I'm 26, you know, so I wish I did this a lot sooner. So the way I see it is I gotta soak up all the experience as much as I can, so I could, you know, go to the next level. Because I understand that I know I started kind of not late, but not really necessarily early, you know. So I feel like I'm in the right spot right now, but I just got to catch up. That's how I see it. So, like I said, if I could fight, I would have fought this month if they had a fight this month. I promise you that. But there was no 5-9 fights this month in February, so fighting in March. So looking forward to that.
Now, what are you looking to do after this? Are you looking to go pro, or are you still just testing the water at amateur?
I honestly want to get a lot more fights in amateurs and sharpen up my experience, because once you go pro, you know, that record's forever. So I want to make sure I'm prepared and know all my faults, all my little things I got to fix before, instead of learning that in a professional fight, you know? Because at the end of the day, when I do go professional, I'm going to go against someone who, because I assume my opponents, even for the amateurs, I assume they train hard, they've been there, they've been there for a long time, this ain't the first show. Like, I go in there with the utmost respect for them and know that they prepared as much as I prepared for this, you know? And so professionals, I can only imagine how long they've been doing it. Like so that's why I want to get as much experience as I can from the amateurs and just sharpen up the iron.
Now, I know you say you train every day and your schedule and all that. Are you having to balance a job as well in between training?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Are you having to balance a job as well as in between your training?
Yes. I do got it's not necessarily, I have a pretty good hour setup. Each job, the job I'm at right now, I let it be known that I have a career I'm pursuing, so they work with me with my hours and stuff. So it's perfect. It matches up for my training and so yeah. So I have a really good balance with training and my work.
That's awesome because not a lot of places do that.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah. Do you maybe look up to anyone as far as who's out there right now, as in like UFC, Bellator, or any of those guys that are pro or have been pro for a while? Do you have anybody that maybe you look to that you admire as far as fighting goes?
I'm a big fan of John Jones. Like, I feel like he's I know he's made his mistakes in life, but I mean, who hasn't? People make mistakes, but all that doesn't matter when you're in the cage, and just the way all his fights and the way he does it. I know I admire it. I like Alex Pereira, just because he's like I wouldn't say he only knows one thing, but the thing that he does know is he's really good at it, like his kickboxing and stuff like that. Like, I'm a fan of it. The striking. I like what's his name? Cosmat. I feel like I'm a real big fan of him. I'm always rooting for him and stuff like that. Like, he's a really amazing fighter. As far as wrestling, he has a good striking. Like, I'm a big fan of him, and yeah, there's a few people in the UFC that I'm looking up to, and that maybe in the future I'll go against them. But
yeah,
as far as
so you are wanting to go down that path to maybe getting to one of those organizations like UFC or Bellator, all the other ones that there's so many now that are out there that are very creditable. So your goal is to get there one day?
Most definitely, and I will. I'm for sure gonna make it happen. Because at the end of the day, the plans, I believe, for a lot of people, is just to make it to the UFC. So that's the plan, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure I keep going that direction.
You're definitely at the right camp to do that, man. Because Dethrone is highly touted. They produce a lot of solid fighters.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm very grateful to have the first day I walked into that gym, it really felt like I belonged there.
Now, when you do your jiu-jitsu training, because you just do MMA, do you do gi or do you just do no gi?
In the beginning, I was doing a lot of no gi, but that was because we had a no gi tournament coming up for people who do compete a lot. So the coach had everybody in no gi to prepare them. But now that we have gi, I have started using gi, and I do enjoy it. It's really different. It's really it's a whole different ball game from no gi. So I like both, but I'm more of a fan of no gi, if I'm being honest. Just because it's like in an MMA fight, they're not wearing anything that can grab you. So it's more better for me, I believe.
What belt are you at right now?
I'm a white belt, 2 stripes.
Hey man, ain't nothing wrong with being a white belt. Props. All right.
Ain't nothing wrong with a white belt.
That's what's up.
Because in my eyes,
now,
I feel like a blue belt.
Now, doing your training, like, do you learn leg locks at all, or is that frowned upon?
I'm not necessarily sure if it's frowned upon, but no, we don't learn leg locks. We don't learn that. But I'm sure my coach will show me if I ask him to. But
I'm a fan of leg locks. I've always made that known. I'm a white belt. The idea is you're not really supposed to know leg locks as a white belt, but I do, and I love them. So that's why I preach it. That's why I was curious about what do you guys, or at your school, what do they teach? What do they preach about that?
Yeah, because with leg locks and stuff like that, from what I've heard from other people is that you don't know if you got it till it's too late. You know, like some people can't tap out until it's like automatically just
until
done,
your leg is absolutely destroyed. Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I know about. So that's why I think we don't really do it a lot. And like if we do get into it, if we do get like a leg lock, they let it go. Like we assume, all right, you got it. You know, like you got that leg, so it's over. So it's like that. But
now you've won a fight by submission and by TKO knockout. Is there anything when you go into a fight, do you look like I want to win by this way? Or is it just I'll take the win however I can get it?
I'm gonna be honest. My first fight, they said that I got a knockout, and I went in there ready to just do my best. You know, like I don't go in there thinking I'm gonna finish this person or anything like that. Like I'm prepared to go all 3 rounds. And my second fight, I was prepared to go all 3 rounds, but my first fight, it finished so fast that I didn't necessarily learn anything by myself. So I didn't know what I was capable of or what I needed to work on. So my second fight, I'm really grateful for that. Even though I lost, it was fight of the night, I believe, in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of people told me that it was one of the best fights. And like I learned a lot myself, my cardio. Like my cardio was good, but learning about adrenaline and stuff like that and the effect it has on you, I learned a lot from that. So yeah, like I learned a lot from my second fight. So my third fight, going in there, I was ready to go out 3 rounds, and I was very grateful to get the submission in round 3. Like I wasn't expecting to get the submission in my third fight, and I got it.
How is it with like your nerves and everything before a fight? Do you ever get nervous or anything like that?
I'm nervous every single time. I'm nervous. My coaches told me something. They told me it's okay to be nervous, and the thing is that I used to have cockiness and confidence mixed up. So now they tell me like you train every day, you train every single day, like just trust in your training and bring out the confidence from that, like cause you put the work in, you're ready for this. It's not like you're just hopping into the cage, like hopping into a cage with no experience. Like you put the work in, you put your body through all that stuff. You did all that. So you got to go in there with confidence, and so I go in there now like I'm always nervous, like I said, but now I have confidence. But there's always the nerves that, because at the end of the day, being nervous saves you sometimes, like be on your toes and stuff like that.
I was waiting for Kaelyn to.
Oh no! I was going to see if you had anything else, James, for him.
So you're going to be going into your 4th fight. What do you know about the guy you're fighting?
I've watched him fight in person twice, I believe. And from what I've seen, he looks like he's a wrestler. Like he looks like he's really good at wrestling. He's gonna try to take me down and stuff like that. So I'm not afraid to go to the ground. I'm not afraid. My ground game is really good. But as far as I know, he's a wrestler. He's really good at ground. Like he tries to do ground and pound or get you in submission or something, like stuff like that. I know that I think I could be wrong. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think he's from Madeira, as far as I know, or something that starts with M. But he looks like a really cool dude. I'm hoping that we both go out there, do our best, and at the end of the day, no matter the results, I hope that we all left it out there on the mat.
All right. Is there any way that people can find you on social?
Yeah. Right now I'm on Instagram. And my handle is Mike, and then it's MMA with 3 M's. So it's Mike MMA. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm starting to make more reels and stuff, like more fighter footage and stuff. So
That's awesome. Some people want to see, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then one more thing: is there anybody you want to shout out?
I want to shout out 559 Fights for giving me the opportunity they've given me. I want to shout out my gym, my sponsors, and all my supporters and all my haters. I appreciate every single one of them.
All right, Mike, we appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing your fight March 10th at the Visalia Convention Center for 559 Fights. Good luck to you, man, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.
All right, thank you. I appreciate meeting you guys and giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Man, anytime. You just let us know if you ever want to come on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. Hey, you have a good one.
You too. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
See you. All right. Well, that's coming up, like I said, March 10th at the Visalia Convention Center. I imagine there's tickets available. People, if you want to check it out, if you're in Central California, I don't know how far our reach goes, but we do focus on a lot of regional area stuff in California. So definitely go check it out. Me and you have gone to some 559 Fights cards, and they've been amazing.
Yeah.
So definitely something amateur-wise for people to check out. I talked to Van, who we had on a few weeks ago, and he was telling me about the card that happened in San Luis, and he said it was a good turnout, and they're starting to set up for their next one. So definitely looking forward to hearing more about that and getting some of those fighters on with us to talk about their experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to move on to pro, and we're going to talk about, of course, what we always talk about, the UFC. And so the UFC is coming up. There was a fight last night, but we talked a little bit at the beginning of the show that you were like, man, on it. So
well, it's all right. The main event fell through, and I don't know when it fell through because I watched the fights late. They had already happened.
It was very last minute from what I've heard.
Yeah, like I think right before it was supposed to start, I think. So somebody fell ill. I think it was not Ryan Spann, but his opponent.
Yes. And
sorry.
He was, of course, like any fighter, he was disappointed.
Yeah. And I think it had to do with a weight cut. I don't know. And they didn't even know if it had to do with the weight cut or putting back in hydration afterwards or what. But doctor deemed his opponent, he didn't clear him to fight. So, and I don't know.
He told him no.
Yeah. So that's pretty bad there. That was the main event. Well, whatever, I guess it happens.
It does happen. But you know what? We have a hell of a pay-per-view coming up this coming week. Finally, Jon Jones will be back in the UFC octagon.
Yeah, I feel like it's not even true yet. I'd have to see it to believe it, I think, at this point.
Do you really feel like, you think last minute he's just going to be like, nah, I'm not doing it?
I don't know. I just feel like we've been waiting for this for so long that I'm like, is it actually happening or what? It doesn't feel real.
Well, if he falls off the card, Dana White's going to be pissed.
I don't think he'd fall off the card. I just can't believe he's actually
I don't think so either.
And
I agree. It's been so long.
Like the date's been set and the date is actually coming up. I'm surprised.
It's not that the date is coming up. The date is next week. It's the 4th.
That's crazy. Come on. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But Jon Jones is going to be taking on Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane is the number one contender because he lost to Francis Ngannou, and Ngannou is essentially out of the UFC.
Yes.
And so there is no heavyweight title holder at the moment. And so this will be for the heavyweight title. And I've already said it before. I think that Jon Jones,
which is crazy, right? Gane. It's up for the title. Is it?
I think so. It is. When the whole thing of Francis Ngannou was in the shuffle and taking place, I think the idea was that he would fight Jon Jones, but then they weren't sure, and so it is what it is now. I mean, fights next week, so this is what we're getting. We're getting number one contender Cyril Gane former interim heavyweight champion, taking on John Jones, who is moving up to take this bout and automatically gets a title shot, which I get. He's the GOAT. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time already. So, yeah. I do take John Jones to win. He's John Jones. He is one of the greats. Yet I heard something very interesting, and I've heard it before, but it was a refresher for me. The one thing that you cannot beat as a fighter is time. And has it been that long that John Jones is it too long of a layoff for John Jones? Did he miss those prime years not fighting, the prime time not fighting?
Right.
And is it the end, but will this affect his performance?
Who knows? Who even knows? I don't even know what he looks like anymore as far as how he moves, and he's bigger now. That's never happened before in his career.
And he's training at a different camp because I don't believe he's at Jackson.
I think he got kicked out.
Anymore.
I think he got kicked out of that camp.
Yeah.
But,
so
I don't know where he went. I don't know. Maybe they've said already. And to be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot as far as it'll come out this week. I'm sure it'll be a huge embedded series on all these fighters here in the main card. So I look forward to that. I like watching those. John Jones will be interesting. I'm sure they'll have a lot more details on what's been going on with him the past however many years it's been. Do you remember who he fought last?
Oh, I don't, honestly. It's been a while. I want to say he was a light heavyweight, but I do not recall.
I think it was Dominic Reyes. I think. I feel like. Right?
I'll have to do a quick search.
I believe it was Dominic Reyes.
So
and it was
we shall find out momentarily if my computer decides it wants to load stuff.
And then, although Dominic Reyes kind of fell off right after that too, so.
True. I feel like a lot of fighters kind of fall off after they fight against John Jones.
Yep.
I feel like it's kind of a thing.
Get to John
hyped
Jones
up
and then
so much. Essentially.
I mean, look at Anthony Smith. Look what happened to him. Ever since John Jones has not been the same.
Gustafson.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been kind of but
they were hyped up on that first one, so they did it again and didn't end up so well.
Yeah. But yet I'll still rock the Gustafson shirt because that shirt looks dope as hell. So
I do like his shirt. Yeah, and did he retire? I believe he retired.
I believe so. I believe he retired recently.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
I'm still trying to bring up that.
I almost feel like it's not real that he's back, but we'll
no, you're right, because it's been such a long layoff that it's like, should we believe it? Because we would always hear news about John Jones, and yet we were never sure if it was legit. And so you're right. It doesn't feel like it's real.
Yeah, I still don't think it's real. I mean, once it gets closer, it's going to be crazy. I miss watching John Jones fight. I miss all the hype around his fight cards. So that'll be really fun. But yeah, I don't know what he looks like as far as the heavyweight goes. I know he's big. He definitely looks huge. I don't know if that's more comfortable for him. But we'll see. I don't know. I haven't heard of anyone who he sparred with. I don't know if you have or not. I haven't heard much details, although I haven't looked that hard.
I couldn't even
usually
tell
right in front
you
of my face,
what team he's with.
Yeah, I feel like all the stuff's usually in your face, but it hasn't been in my face lately as far as John Jones and the stuff he's been doing, if he's been advertising it at all, or if anyone knows,
And you were very right. His last fight was against Dominic Reyes. He got the decision win.
It was close.
Back in 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it's been about 2 years. Man, I feel like it's been at least
almost 3 years. Or a little bit over 2.
I feel like it's been at least 4 years since I've seen him fight, but that's how long it's felt. So.
Well, you're right about that. I completely agree with that. But he is going to be competing against Cyril Gahn. John Jones, when you look at this, look at the experience. Like, I given it was at a different weight class, but John Jones has the experience. That's why another reason why I don't see Cyril Gahn really. I mean, he has, of course, Cyril Gahn. He's a striker. He has a puncher's chance. But I feel like that's all he has.
I think, and that's the thing. I think that is what he has, and I think it's very possible for him to knock him out also. I don't know. I feel like he can knock John Jones out without knowing
Do you
what he
think he
looks
has
like.
the power to knock out John Jones? Because when I've seen him, when I've seen him fight, it doesn't seem like he has that heavy-handedness.
Oh, I mean, I've seen John Jones get hit a bunch before, and it's possible to hit John Jones at that small.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible.
Anyway,
but is there enough power from Gone to knock him out?
I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's go ahead and move down the card.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm taking Jones no matter what.
I'll take Jones, although I will say it might be close.
All right. I don't think. I don't want to say it's going to go decision, but if it does, I understand. Next, we have for the flyweight women's title, we have Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso.
Yeah, I think Valentina will get this one. I don't know how, but Alexa Grasso is very good at striking. I think Alexa Grasso's number is just up because she's been doing so well. So she's, it's her chance. I feel like a lot of times Valentina just fights these girls that have been beating everyone else. But, when it comes to her, it seems like she's on a whole other level. Although her last fight was close, I believe some people thought she lost that one. So she can, but I don't think Grasso can do it.
Now, thinking about it, I feel like Shevchenko, for us hardcores, she's somebody we know about. We think she's awesome, but yet she is not hyped compared to the way Nunes was. And I'll never understand why. I wonder why she's not promoted as heavily compared to other female fighters.
Well, I think back then she didn't have to be heavily promoted. I think everyone knew who she was and how good she is, and they still do. I think people are they already know everything about her. Do you think people forgot then? Forgot about her? No, I think they look at her as like, yeah, no doubt she's going to win. I think she has that status when people who know or don't know of her. No, and I don't know. I guess but even all of the women division, like Amanda Nunes doesn't need the hype because she always knocks people out, so that's what she's got. But Shevchenko has the same thing, and Shevchenko will beat her too, I believe, in one of their fights when she did fight Nunes. I don't know. I think people don't do the female fighters as much as the males, of course, unless you get like a Cyborg, a Nunes, Ronda Rousey type of females. I mean, Shevchenko's been a champ for a very long time already, and she can beat most of the girls as of now. So I still see her as like Amanda Nunes. She's on another level when it comes to all the rest of the girls in her division. So I think she's going to beat Grasso. I don't know how, but probably with some kind of strike. Or on the ground too. I don't know. She's good on the ground too. She has good defense on the ground. So she has a good clinch. So I don't know. We'll see. And I think the last two fights that Shevchenko has had, people maybe there wasn't so much hype on it. And the fact that she almost lost the last one, maybe people are doubting. So I don't know.
Very well could be. Very well could be. But that is our 2 title fights for next week's pay-per-view at UFC 285. On the fight card, we also have Jeff Neal on the card. And then Bo Nickel, as well as Cody Garbrandt in the main event of the prelims.
So we have go back up to the main card real quick. We have
You got it.
Bo Nickel, who's making his debut, right? He was on Contenders now.
No, but it is his card. Yeah, it's his debut. I believe he's a highly touted wrestler. Yeah, because we've reported on him before. He's a wrestler that is just exceptional.
Garb just Hudson, who's prelims, which is a crazy card to think that those are on now as card. Then you have Nickel, who is, oh man, I can't remember, is it debut or did he fight once already? Although I do remember him saying he will never be prelim.
For Bo Nickel, it's his debut. I want to say they're giving him a 2-0 because of him being on the Contender Series, I believe. It was either that or something else, or maybe it was the Ultimate Fighter, but I'm pretty sure it was Contenders. That's why he has a 2-0. I don't believe he's fought anywhere else. Are those, see, that's the thing that kind of, I thought those were exhibitions like the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, the Ultimate, you know, for context, I don't, to be honest, this website, I feel like sometimes, but it's like on the Contender Series that my fight you put card, and I guess we'll see what happens. 15-8.
Oh, and she is gone. We will effort to get her back. Just reaching out to her right now, folks. But yeah, we have Bo Nickel taking on Jamie Pickett. Bo Nickel, highly touted wrestler coming in. A lot of hype behind him on the hype train. So I could see why he is be competing on the first card of the main card compared to in the prelims. Whereas we have Cody Garbrandt on the top part of the prelim card. And we have Garbrandt, that's 12-5, and against Trevin Jones, who's 13-9. Garbrandt, he's kind of seems like he's been on the skids lately. Hopefully he'll bounce back and really get to it this time. Let's see who else we got on the card. We got Derek Brunson against Duplessis. Amanda Rebus is on the card as well. Julian Marquez. And let's see if we can get Kaelyn back in the mix. We got the spinning wheel of doom. We are efforting her back. And there she is. Kaelyn, are you with us? It doesn't seem like it. It seems like she's on the frozen screen of doom. Kaelyn, can you hear me? All right, she cannot. So let's go ahead and just keep talking about the fights. Jessica Panay is also on the card. Let's see. Kaelyn, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm back.
All right, cool. We got you. All right, whoo. Because when I first popped you up, you weren't quite there. And I was like, uh-oh. So. Are you still there? Did we lose you?
Yeah, but you're frozen.
Now I'm frozen on your end. Okay.
Got it?
Well, son of a gun. Yeah. There we go. Now it's catching. It seems like it's catching up. But I was just finishing up talking about UFC 285, and then it's going to move on to some other news.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Talking about Michael there.
Now we're going to move on to Scott Coker was talking about Francis Ngannou, one of our favorite heavyweights.
As he should.
As he should. Scott Coker wants Francis Ngannou to fight MMA for Bellator and then box for Showtime. Bellator is on Showtime. And so, of course, Showtime has boxing. So let him do both. They've let fighters do other things in Bellator in the past. They've let, Rampage do pro wrestling, Tito do pro wrestling. Why not let him do some boxing?
I think if they have a piece of they're happy.
I think you're right about that. And you're getting the best heavyweight in the world until he was kicked from the UFC because the UFC didn't want to agree to what he wanted in his contract negotiations. And so I think he's still top dog until he loses.
Yeah. That's his choice. That feels confident doing that. That sucks, but I can't agree. It is what it is.
That's very true. Very true. So it would be interesting to see him box
more
as well.
For anybody else.
What was that?
He offered him a lot. I think he's offered more than he's offered anybody ever in the UFC, and still really what Francis was looking for. So,
I believe you're right, but still, what does that say though about what the UFC really has to offer if Francis wanted so much and they weren't willing to give him that, to keep him there?
Well, I think when it's one fighter, okay, they'll let go. I don't know. As long as the other fighters accept what they're offering, it's not going to change, And I don't want fighters to leave UFC. I think, I wouldn't want any fighters to leave UFC, but I don't know how to get anything else done. It's just like anything else, you protest something until you get it, or you participate, you boycott, whatever it is. It's just, you have all these UFC fighters that will never leave UFC unless the conditions get really, really bad. I think they're okay with what it is now, most of the fighters. I think they're caught up in the fame of it, so they just want a piece of UFC. They want to be in it. But when you have someone that has leverage like Francis Ngannou, who believes he's good as wherever he goes, and he might as well get what he wants, type of thing.
Well, I think they should. I think there are certain concessions both sides could have made, but that's me. They could have. There are some things that could have been cut on both sides, but it didn't happen. So Ngannou's a free agent. If he wants to box, let him box. He's heavy-handed, so I think he'll be all right. But does he? I don't think he's fast enough to compete with the boxer, but he does have the power.
I don't know. We don't know. He does.
Well, okay. Have you ever seen a boxer spar with an MMA person?
Yeah. I think you see it quite a bit, and you can see the difference there.
The speed in a boxer is way different than the speed in an MMA fighter.
Right. Yeah.
And so I feel like Ngannou is just, of course, he'll train for boxing, but he's not going to be like a lot of seasoned boxers. I think he'll still be sluggish, but if he hits you, he's going to put you down.
Well, I don't know if it's you don't get used to training with a certain stance, and your muscle memory is different. You're built to be ready. It's not just all hands. It's like the box just happens to throw. It's with these MMA fighters, boxers, kind of how move around. You could tell just the speed, Mayweather has had, and he's also about. You can see a little bit of difference there.
All right. Well, you know what? That's going to do it for us on this episode of the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next time.